Holy reboot, Batman. The day is finally here. And after all, why should Marvel have all the fun right now? Hey y'all, my name is Mike Vaughn, and in this video, I will be giving you my spoiler-free review of the hotly anticipated Batman the Caped Crusader. Before we begin, please consider giving this video a like and subscribe. I do upload daily, and your support means everything to me. Now, back to the video. The production of Batman the Caped Crusader was a rocky one. Most of you know, but for any of you that do not, this series was, of course, planned for HBO Max. However, for some reason, this series was shelved, but thankfully, Warner Brothers allowed it to be shopped around, and Amazon won the bid. Seeing how I grew up on Batman the Animated Series, I was very excited to see what a reimagining would be like. Sadly, Kevin Conroy, who originally voiced Bruce Wayne / Batman, passed away, which was devastating. Yet, I think carrying on is what Conrad would have wanted, but you might be wondering, how the heck is this series? Thankfully, it's everything I wanted from a spiritual offspring of Batman the Animated Series and more. Right off the bat, I was happy to see the showrunners took the set in the 40s aesthetic and fully committed to it. Because even though the OG series has this noir-like look, it was kind of all over the place when it came to a specific time period, which I think works very well for that series. Yet, I always liked the idea of setting a Batman series in a totally different era, and boy, did we get it here. Visually, the series uses digital animation, but it achieves the same style as the original series, yet it ups the pulp factor by a lot. And oh my gosh, I love the Batman costume so much here, and I really dig that it looks a lot like his Golden Age appearance. The world building is extremely well crafted. Despite all the crazy stuff going on, it does have a sense of grounding. Like, I did believe this was a plausible world, but you know, with a Batman and crazy villains. Speaking of, Batman's Rogue Gallery is considered the best in comics, and I was curious to see what the series had in store for the villains. Right off the bat, I'm only going to mention villains that have been confirmed so far. Now, Caped Crusader does the classic Villain of the Week format, which is fun because we get a nice variety of baddies. Like, we get heavy hitters like Harley Quinn, Clayface, Catwoman, and Two-Face, but we also get more obscure yet fan favorites like Onomatopoeia and Gentleman Ghost. I suspect that if we get a second season, this format will probably carry over, but have an overarching villain throughout the season. We do kind of get this season with Harvey Dent and his arc from DA to Two-Face. Also, I know this is going to piss some people off, but the series does several huge villain shakeups, which I want to go on record as saying I really enjoyed. First off, this is a Joker-less Harley Quinn, which was confirmed earlier this week by Entertainment Weekly. The thing is, Harley has really grown as a character, and I like that she can exist as a villain without Joker. Like, yes, maybe they can team up someday in the series, but fuck yeah, it's so cool seeing her not necessarily born out of Joker's toxic bullshit. And we get the Penguin, but she is a woman this time, and I think this is a fun change-up. It's interesting to see, since we are getting a more traditional Penguin series in a couple months, also from Matt Reeves. I like that they didn't make a huge deal that the character is now female, because within the narrative, it makes me think that she's such a badass that she has long since leveled the playing field and rose above any gender biases. The show has plenty of actions and thrills akin to the OG series. However, like the series, Reeve allows us to have more impactful and quieter moments. For example, in the episode The Night of the Hunters, after a pretty terrible outcome, Barbara, Jim Gordon, and Detective LaToya all just sit down at the bar and they're finding comfort in each other's company. I love moments like this, and it gives things more depth and subtlety, which is a nice contrast between the more bombastic and weirder elements at play. I also enjoy seeing a nice mini arc between Bruce and Alfred Pennyworth. The show isn't graphic, yet it doesn't shy away from some truly unsettling moments, including some good old-fashioned kinder trauma, which I won't spoil what episode it is, but you'll know it when you see it. I think my favorite episode this season is and Be a Villain, which is a total love letter to horror movies of the 30s and 40s. I have an Easter egg video coming up which covers all those references, so subscribe if you don't want to miss that one. The show is also very smart in not throwing everything out at you at once. This leaves room for bigger villains and pretty exciting threads the show can explore. Now, if I'm being totally real, I think this season does struggle by virtue of it being a first season, meaning you do need to spend a bunch of time establishing the world, its internal logic, the characters, and how they fit into said world. And yes, this is all very vital. This show also spends a lot of time showing how corrupt Gotham is, but I honestly thought the mob stuff wasn't as interesting as the colorful villains, yet it didn't bother me that much because the underworld elements did serve some very important functions both within the world and as foils for our characters, both virtuous and morally ambiguous. A second season will be great because it won't be saddled with the heavy lifting of introducing the world and its characters. Cape Crusader feels like the OG series, yet it never tries to totally remake it. Rather, the spirit of the original is very much there, but gives itself enough space to make things different and exciting. So I hope you all enjoyed that video, but wait, before you go, please check out some of these videos, and I will see y'all in the next one.